Hello.
Hello.
Okay.
Ma'am, Sima ma'am, audible. Okay, audible, audible.
Fine.
Good afternoon, everyone. I, Simran Feroz, would like to welcome you all to a session on secret of choosing a career that you can excel. I request you all to stay muted for the entire session. If you have any questions to be asked, you can drop it in the chat box and will be considered at the end of the session. I now request Ms. Seema from the PG department to give the welcome address.
It's not what you achieve, it's what you overcome. And that is what defines your career, says Carlton Fisk. Good afternoon and hearty welcome to all who have gathered here for this one day virtual session on the secret of choosing a career that you can excel. organized by St. Claret College, Bangalore. I'm Seema Joseph, head of the PG Department of Commerce, St. Claret College, and I take this opportunity to extend a warm welcome to the most eminent and honorable resource persons for the day, Dr. Lalatendu Kesri Jena, Assistant Professor, Xavier University, Bhubaneswar, Dr. Biranchi Narayan P. Panta, Assistant Professor, Xavier University, Bhubaneswar, and Ms. Prerna Roy, business and life coach, corporate trainer, and principal consultant from Inspire Excellence to this virtual session on the topic, The Secret of Choosing a Career That You Can Excel. On behalf of the management and the entire Claritin family, it's my proud privilege to welcome Dr. Biranchi, Ms. Prerna, and Dr. Ledendu to this career counseling virtual session today. Let me extend my deep sense of appreciation for our distinguished guest speakers for accepting our invitation to share their most specialized knowledge on courses and careers with our participants. And I hope they will definitely succeed in guiding our participants to make the right choices in their career. Welcome you, sirs, and welcome you, ma'am. A hearty welcome to our principal, Reverend Dr. Sabu George, and Vice Principal, Reverend Father Abraham PJ, for their gracious presence today. It is the inspiration and strong leadership they extend towards the faculty endeavors, which motivates us to work with greater enthusiasm. Welcome you, Fathers. A special welcome to the entire faculty and technical team of SEC who has made this event happen today. Last but not the least, I extend my heartiest welcome to all the participants from various colleges and universities across the nation who have joined us today for this career counseling session for PG aspirants. We are honored by your overwhelming response to attend this program. The best way to predict the future is to create it. I strongly believe this will be a fruitful session which will help you to dream big, make right choices, and reach greater heights in your future. Welcome you all once again. Thank you. Now I request Ms. Sonal Sim to take over the session and introduce the speakers. Over to you, Ms. Sonal.
Thank you, ma'am. Am I audible, ma'am? Okay, thank you, ma'am. It is a great pleasure for me to introduce our first speaker of the day, Dr. Lalatendu Kesri Jena, who is going to talk to us about the secret of choosing a career that you can excel. Our speaker has spent almost his entire career advising people on their career. His education and service are a long history, but I will spell out the very important points. He is continuing his postdoc fellowship at Loyola Leadership School in Spain on the topic Employee Retention and Leadership Challenges. He has been awarded PhD from Department of Humanities and Social Science from Indian Institute of Technology, Kharagpur, for his thesis titled Workplace Spirituality and Human Resource Effectiveness, examining the role of organizational citizenship behavior and emotional intelligence. The thesis was nominated in the Best 5 Theses category by Professor Durganand Sinha Dissertation Award Trust, National Academy of Psychology. He is a certified trainer of Indian Society for Training and Development, New Delhi, fellow of World HR Board on Strategic Human Resource Management, accredited management teacher from All India Management Association, certified academic counselor of Indira Gandhi National Open University, New Delhi, junior research fellowship holder from University Grants Commission, and gold medalist in MA in Distance Education from IGNOU, New Delhi. He is a life member of AIMA, ISTD, NHRD, NIPM, AHRD, ISABS, and associated with its various forums for mutual sharing of management ideas, experience, and domain expertise. He has received the Best Research Paper Award at International Business Research Conference, Bhubaneswar, and at International Conference of Organization and Management, Abu Dhabi. He was identified as Innovation Manager HRD and winner of Suggestion Award in HAL for organizing need-based training programs and correspondingly lifted HAL Koraput Division's training progress to an optimal extent during 2009 till 2013. He has more than 100 publications as journal articles, book reviews, edited books, and cases with reputed Indian and international publishers, substantial consulting, teaching, and project work, coordination experience with ICFAI University Hyderabad. He has coordinated extensively in the capacity of Program Director for Management and Design Trainees Induction Training Program at Corporate Learning Center HCL Management Academy, Bangalore. His major strengths are self-motivated, resourcefulness, and leadership. On behalf of St. Clara College, a very hearty welcome to you, sir. Our second speaker of the day is Miss Prerna Roy. Prerna Roy is a leadership coach, a motivational speaker, educator, and a burn survivor. She is an epitome of sheer grit and faith. She met with an accident at the age of 24 and survived 82% burns to tell her story. A physics graduate with a master's in management, Prerna is a John Maxwell certified executive leadership coach, a global career counselor from UCLA who works with reputed organizations like TCS, L&T, and several technical colleges in India and abroad. She is a living phoenix who is here to show us that we are not the bodies, but we are the minds. With a deep understanding of the human psyche, Prerna trains the human mind to achieve the best and realize its potential to the fullest. Working in the USA and heading the organization gave her the immense mental strength to do something different. She realized that giving stupendous figures cannot be her only business, and thus she left US for her home. After 25 surgeries over 12 years, here she stands tall as the founder of Inspire Excellence, a company which aims to add value to human lives. Prerna always says, leadership is all about personal growth. Leaving the high-paying job in US was not easy, but she knew that she was meant for something more meaningful. Speaker at various forums, she has been recently felicitated as Shakti with 25 other personalities of Kolkata for her work as a change maker. And she has, and as her name suggests, she is all the inspiration that we need. She has shown us that it is only you who can shape your life. Prerna's mantra is have dreams, you will grow into them. On behalf of St. Clara College, a very hearty welcome to you, ma'am. Our last speaker of the day is Dr. Biranchi Narayan P. Ponta. Sir's area of interests are corporate law and governance, competition law, international trade law, intellectual property law, public policy, human rights law, cyber law, constitutional law, and international environment law, etc. Sir has been working as an assistant professor at Xavier Law School, Xavier University, Bhubaneswar. Sir has previously worked as a senior consultant at Indian Institute of Corporate Affairs, Government of India, as Senior Research Associate at CUTS Institute of Regulation and Competition, New Delhi, as Associate Manager Law at Rainmaker, The Legal People, New Delhi, as Academic Consultant of Law at School of Law, Indira Gandhi National Open University, New Delhi, as Teaching Associate and Research Associate at Sai Institute of Management and Technology, New Delhi, and as a law practitioner at Delhi Bar Association and Odisha State Bar Association. Sir was awarded his doctorate degree in the year of 2018 from Jamia Millia Islamia, New Delhi, and his research topic was a comparative study on competition law and policy in India, China, and Japan, special focus on the cartels, abuse of dominant positions, and cross-border issues. Sir also has an impressive list of publications and articles, project contributions, and being a coordinator for various training programs. On behalf of St. Clara College, a very hearty welcome to you, sir. Over to you, Dr. Jenna.
Thank you so much, Madam Sonal, for that introduction. Very respected senior fraternals of St. Claret College, my dear Prakash sir, with whom I got connected with to the college, the dear learners, and I'm very delighted to see such a massive gathering. I have got a topic to discuss today that is being the secret of choosing a career that you can excel. I'll be sharing some of my own insights because as I was researching onto training and development for quite a long time, I hope I'll bring you some of the real-time perspective to you. Basically, my coverage for today's discussion will revolve around on three important agendas. One is, what things do you need to take into consideration when choosing a career? So that I'll be focusing for the first 10 minutes. Then the rest, I'll try to take you through how to choose a career. And basically, we have been told that you may be juggling around to identify a career, whether to go for an MBA or MCom degree. So obviously the career scope and the job opportunities. And at the fag end of it, obviously we'll take up for a Q&A session, which I'll be glad to participate on that. So let me start with what exactly you need to take into consideration when choosing a career. So choosing a career actually is one of the most difficult decisions what one ever take, and one which impacts the life the most. Therefore, you want to make sure that you will be happy with your decision while also making a good living. So these are both the things we need to take into consideration. One of the biggest mistake what I have observed being a researcher is that young people do is follow other people's dream when choosing a career, be it parents, be it friends, be it idols. They follow a path that might not necessarily fit to this set of skills on personality. They go to college and study something that they are not passionate about, because this is the future. It pays well. Or for example, somewhere, I heard that your father and I would be so proud just to find themselves 4 years later, 4 or 5 years later, that they have a degree in something they never wish to pursue. So I have seen it happening ways too many times, and unfortunately many people actually they are living a very miserable lives because of taking the wrong decision when it comes to choosing a career. So therefore my first agenda is let's try to understand what are the things that we need to take into consideration when you are thinking of choosing a career. So number one, the first factor is called as the passion. It might sound like a glitch. However, passion basically that plays a very important role to being happy in your career. Okay, post pandemic, I think of bringing it to you to the context that you need to be happy in your career. When being passionate about what you do, your chances of making a good living are much higher. Yeah, well, why? Because you will be able to learn things much faster. Therefore, climbing the maybe if you are looking for a corporate career, therefore obviously climbing the corporate ladder may be faster. Whatever the job that you do, you will become more dedicated to your job, more invested, and therefore you will become more successful. And as opposed to do something that is not a matter of interest to you, or worse, something that we hate doing it. So therefore, if you are lost about what your passions are, you need to think outside the box. What are your hobbies? Which of them can be marketed? Please mark my words. Which of them actually out of your hobbies can be marketed? It may be cooking, it may be drawing, it may be writing, it may be doing a research. For me, when I have worked in a corporate, then off late I found that teaching is a matter of interest for me, and I can market myself. So landed. So similarly, you need to explore what is your hobby and what you can market. So the question that you need to ask yourself, friends, when choosing a career is, would I be doing this for free? The answer you need to aim for is, of course, yes. That is one. So the first point I told you is about passion. The second one is about the skills. Yeah. So say while passion is one of the important factor when choosing a career, so obviously skills come second, because skills can be taught. Someone who is passionate about something but is not having the skills can become so much better than someone who does have the skill, however lacking the passion. So it is important though, but be realistic. So let's continue. Say for example, if suppose you have a love for cooking. So if you're passionate about cooking, suppose say however you cannot create any edible dish, you can take a cooking course and try again. Maybe you don't have the basic knowledge of cooking time for different ingredients, or no knowledge about how to mix them. But again, if you are really passionate about this, so obviously you can learn the skills. So therefore, my second point that I thought of bringing it to you is the skills. The third one is the pay. Okay. Basically, in this time of instability, it is always, in this time of pandemic also, it is always good to try to secure a good paying job or a career path that leads to make a good living. So in order to do that, the smartest thing you, the learner, can do is create a list of passions that I told you and some of the marketable skills that you have. And then you can research the jobs that require those skills. Okay. Obviously, when you pursue your higher study over here or anywhere in any educational institute, obviously you need to do a research on the jobs that you are, close to it, along with identifying the growth opportunities, starting with that job. For example, say if you're young and you spend a lot of time on social media, nowadays in pandemic, we are doing it, while being passionate about, suppose, say, creating good content. I have found some of the people who are creating very good content, the text, videos, or pictures. This might be a good choice. As all companies are now in pandemic, they are switching to a more digital, strategy and are using social media as their main channels. So you can start as a social media executive and then you can grow as a social media manager. And depending on what other skills you acquire along the way, you can then become a, if you acquire an MBA degree, then obviously you can then become a digital marketing manager, digital marketing director, or even open up a digital marketing agency. So this is something what I was mentioning about the pay, which stands to be my third point. Well, the fourth point is obviously to do all that, you require a kind of certifications. So nowadays, all the companies, all organizations, they require a degree for any type of job. However, all the same time, there are many people, actually they climb quite fast somewhere on a corporate ladder and secure a high paying job at a very young age without having a degree. So it depends, of course, on the company and industry. If, for example, if you are passionate about building something or doing something, it is very, very safe to say that you can become a passionate. If you are building something, for example, that's what I was saying, that you can become a passionate engineer. So for this type of job, obviously, what you require, you need a degree. There is no way around it. The same applies to become a doctor or a, or a manager or an architect. So you need to take into consideration according to your personal financial situation. That is what is very important. So the question arises is, can you afford to pay the college fees? Can you wait for a 3 to 6 years, depending on the degree, until you start working and actually, making money out of it? Or will you be able to take a part-time job while pursuing your degree? I think I have seen in Bangalore that there are a lot of people who do a part-time job and pursue their career. So you need to have an answer to all these questions actually before taking any kind of decisions. So this is my point 4. So point 5, I was thinking about trends. Yeah, trends is very important because being a HR professional, I used to observe a lot of trend, what is happening in the job market, because trends in the job market change every year from year to year. So depending on where you live, actually, it would be advised to do a little research. Suppose say if you are in Bangalore, if you are in metropolitan cities, obviously then you are close, your proximity is so close to organizations. So you need to do a little research or talk to the people in the work field about the current trends. You do not want to pursue a degree in engineering, for example, just to find yourself in 4 years. There are so many engineering graduates and not enough jobs that the pay is really not worth of it. You can also research how many people can be enrolled in a number of university in your area for the same degree that you are interested in. So this is a good indicator of what to expect in a few years. Of late, we have found that the managerial jobs, as it is increasing, obviously there lies an opportunity. If you're pursuing a career on finance, if you're pursuing a career on business administration, it will give you an edge. So therefore, my 5th point is observing the trends. Then when I'm thinking about my 6th point, it comes to my mind is the environment. Another factor is to consider the environment you'll be working in. So it is better being an organizational psychologist. Also, I feel that we need to take a look at our current behavior in our free time. Say, are we spending most of our time on our computer or in front of our TV? Then maybe an office job will be more suitable to us. Are you spending a lot of time outdoors and are you hyperactive? Then a career that allows you to travel and have meeting outside of the office might be a better choice. So you need to take into consideration your personality before choosing a career. You can talk to different senior people. Obviously, the career counselors will come into play over there and ask them, how does a work day look like for them? So ask them about the things that they like and do not like, and because this should be giving a better perspective of how a day in that job would be spent. So this happens to be my 6th agenda, which I thought of bringing it to you. And the 7th one is the takeaway. Whichever career friends you chose, you need to take into consideration, as I told you, which skills does that job require? Which skills will you learn along the way? That makes us, a complete professional. So you need to look at the skills that can be easily transferable to another industry. If you consider, let's say, to make a career change in 10 years from now, when I worked, you might have heard my CV from Madam Sonal. I worked in corporate for a while. Then I came to ACADS. So obviously, when I was in corporate, I was just thinking that if I venture into an ACADS, then obviously, what are the skills that I should gain in corporate that I can transfer in ACADS? So the bottom line is to remember that almost nothing goes as planned, and as your life might be completely different from 5 years from now. So you might not have a clue actually what your passions are, what you want to do in life, and that is absolutely fine. Right? So one of the last final point that I thought of sharing it to you is don't put too much pressure on yourself, obviously, because I have given you 7 big points, but don't put too much of pressure on yourself. You will discover what is your passion along the way. So that is first part. The second is how to choose a career. So to choose a career, you need to assess yourself. Who are you right now? That's what being a HR, I think of taking this route to you. Think about who you are, what you are good at it, what actually you enjoy. This will help you to choose career ideas that match your skills and interest. Here are some of the useful questions and activities to explore. For example, what activities have you enjoyed studying at school and beyond? Okay, are you interested in studying business or in doing accounting? So obviously, MCom is the best profession, best career to be. Why? Is it because you like the person teaching you, or there is something about that subject that you are able to relate to? What subjects have you done well at, and why? So it is a very high time for learners like you to kickstart when we are in the verge of an admission process for a new academic year. I think St. Claret College, when I was discussing with the authorities, the MBA and MCom, the courses, both the courses are some of the good choices, because I personally have studied commerce and later I did my management. So both these courses actually, personally, I found that it is vastly different in a number of aspects, including their core focus areas. For example, when you're looking for an MBA is a professional course that focuses more on industry requirements. It helps students to get better management jobs. On the other hand, when I recall my commerce, which I did as an undergrad, MCom is a course actually targets the theoretical knowledge in the field of commerce, while an MBA prepares a candidate for a career in business administration and management. MCom is an excellent course for an academic pursuit for finance and commerce. So students who have completed any undergrad course, for example, a BCom course, are often confused about whether they should go for an MBA or an MCom after graduation. So in order to figure out which course is the best, a student must take a close look at the salient feature of each of the course to any universities or institutions they think of applying. So this is one, I think assess yourself is first important thing. Second one is think about your, as I mentioned over there in the first part. So think about your short-term and the long-term goal. So now that you have done all this thinking to choose a career that is right for you, if you are choosing one of it, so your next step is to think, about some of the achievable goals to make your top career choice a reality. What are you going to work towards in the next few months and in the next few years? I advise to my students that it is better to create a document or a spreadsheet, list down, note down all the steps you can take to achieve your goals. Add a date you'd like to achieve them. Is there a grade you want to get on in your postgrad project or exam? A course you would like to do, research, an hour you would like to spend finding online interview with people, doing your dream jobs? Your goals can be small or large. They can be achieved this evening or say in the next year, but they must be achievable. Friends, they must be achievable. So create your list of achievable goals and add due by dates. And you have taken a big shot to not only choosing a career, but setting your dream in motion. So finally, I would like to talk about, the MBA versus MCom. What are the career scopes and job opportunities? Both MBA and MCom, both the courses have good job opportunities, but the targeted sector of both courses are different. The career scope and job opportunities of MBA and MCom, for example, say career after MBA. So MBA is a course basically that prepares a candidate to take up managerial roles in various organizations. That's what I was talking about it. So due to the excellent exposure in various administration and management related subjects that provide the course, MBA graduates across the country is in high demand, especially in private organization setups. In Bangalore, you may be finding out a lot of engineers, a lot of managers around. And startup also, they are hiring MBA grads. So MBA course is taken up by many candidates after gaining some work experience in their desired field. An MBA degree helps the professionals to acquire key skills that is required for management posts and climb to a higher position in the industry. When I recall being in HR, when I recall that what are the top recruiting areas of MBA graduates, it's like banking, financial services and insurance sectors, management consultancies, investment banking, a lot of private companies. So these are some of the top recruiting areas. Some of the job profiles when I see, positions like marketing manager, project manager, human resource manager, business analyst. So these are the career choices if you are pursuing an MBA degree. If you are looking for an MCom, for example, MCom is also a very reputed course these days with a wider scope in the government jobs as well as the private sectors. Even though the course includes management subjects, MCom graduates are generally not preferred for the managerial post, but instead, most of the career opportunity for MCom arises in areas that is related to accounting and finance. And that gives you a very depth knowledge of core subject if you pursue an MCom degree. MCom is taken up by many BCom graduates after completing their graduations. So many graduates also take up MCom study while they pursue, chartered accountancy. Since both the courses have quite a similar syllabus, MCom is also a very good course for a candidate who is preparing for the recruitment exam in related to public sector departments. MCom is also a very good course for candidates who are wishing to take up, teaching after post-graduation. Many MCom graduates, in the country, they take up B.Ed course. B.Ed means Bachelor of Education after completing their postgraduate degree. So some of the recruitment areas, if I'll see in MCom graduates, it may be the banking, it may be accounting. Some a year back, I have seen that Indian Statistical Service, they have notified some vacancies, right? So popular job opportunities in the form of, they get to be designated in the form of accounting, financial analyst, finance consultant, investment banker. So these are the options. So well, now when you suppose if you'll ask me that which one is better, MBA versus MCom, because as I told that MBA and MCom are well reputed course in India with excellent value in academics as well as in industry. For example, if you'll see say cost, okay, so MBA is generally an expensive course, a bit expensive course depending on the college. You may have to spend something close to 10 to 12 lakhs for an MBA course, but whereas an MCom is a bit affordable in India, especially in government colleges. An MCom course can usually be completed within close to 1 lakh. If you say recognition, for example, MBA and MCom, MBA is widely recognized in India as well as in global market. MCom, a recognized course in India, but obviously, it need to have an international recognition that we are shouting for. So obviously, it will also be getting it. Then MBA. So for example, who is it for? It is great for candidates who wish to take up management positions, as I told you. And MCom, that this is best for the candidate who either want to take up, teaching or research in commerce or finance. And obviously the core recruiting areas, if you see, as I told you in MBA, the recruiting areas like marketing, advertising, analytics, business administration, or private organizations, some specialized sectors, they apply for MBA. So MCom, if you'll see, obviously, places like financial research, stock markets, taxations, banking and insurance, and as I told that the government jobs, all that actually they cater to MCom graduates. So obviously this is what the options that I have put you to your plate, friends. You need to think very deeply about it, which career is best for you, because as I can understand that the population that it is in front of me, they are all undergrads, they have qualified their undergrads looking for the postgraduate. So assess yourself, where are you right now? And as I given you the tip that think about your short-term and long-term goal and see that where you are passionately connected to in your undergraduate course and just take the lead. I think the whole world will be yours. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Sonal madam. Over to you. Sonal madam, over to you.
Hello.
Yes. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you. Now I'll request Madam Roy to take over the session, please.
Good afternoon, everyone, and thank you, St. Claret Bangalore, for arranging this amazing afternoon for the students. And it's always lovely to get connected to the young generation who is going to be the future of our country. So thank you for this opportunity given to me. And I also thank the other speakers along with me today, this afternoon, the principal of St. Claret Bangalore and Prakash sir, who had connected with me and who gave me this opportunity. So design your future. So when I think of this word, and you know, a lot of times people come to me, being a coach, a lot of people come to me asking me, can we really do this in this scenario? So let me go back to my own story. And I was 30 years of age at that time, managing 2 separate companies in the US, earning a hefty package. I was placed in Irvine, California, and living a comfortable life. But something just didn't feel right. This is exactly what happens to 80% people by the time they reach 35, 40. They feel stuck in their jobs. Well, if you ask me, I'd say wherever you are in your life and whatever you are doing, you always have a choice. You always have a choice to design your own life, to do the things that you want to do. However, the sooner you take care of the things, the better for you. And that is why it is about career planning, career counseling, whatever the question is, that comes to mind. So can we really, if we think of this, how do people normally choose their careers? So whenever, I mean, you know, going back to times when I was your age, I think this was the most common way. However, things have slightly changed over the years, but I think this predominantly still exists in the system. We study where we see that, okay, I've got good scores here. And then, you know, we fall into something and then we kind of make that a career. And if you are one of them, let me tell you this, don't do that mistake. Don't go that route, because that is exactly was a big no in my life. So before we move on, I want to talk about 6 things that I would definitely ask you to avoid. So the first one is caving into parental pressure. and I think Dr. Jaina already had spoken about this, but I will reiterate because this is something which has happened to my life. I was so good in science. I was good in physics and maths. And you know, when I was choosing my college, this happened when I was choosing my college. So I had scored 98 in maths. I really loved maths, and I wanted to do a graduation in mathematics. But my parents were, because it was the fashion. So, or it was something which was, they said that physics has a lot of opportunities. So they said, it's a good college that you're getting. It's a good field that you're getting to study. Just go. So don't give into that parental pressure. That is one of the big no's. The second one is choosing the attractive option. So right after I did my graduation, I was doing my, I luckily ended up in getting a job in a school. But, I was kind of not earning that well. And the schools at that point of time didn't pay that well. And what happened was this came to me, I was getting this offer from Wipro. It was a BPO at that time, and it was taking up a number of people. And I just got into that attractive, big corporate space, good looking people all around. That was what was running around in my mind. Whether I went for that or not, yeah, I did went for it for some time, but then realized what a big mistake it was. The next one is following the lead. Yes, this is another main, and I think most of us do this, friends are doing it. And this has happened to a lot of people, specifically in my generation. People would just follow into either going into medicals or engineering. That still remains, I feel, the larger section of students, the larger section of parents feel that is the only career option, or that is an attractive career option. Let me tell you here, your career options are almost infinite. There are so many career options. The only thing that matters is how good you do it. The next one is picking the easy way out. Just because something is, it's a low hanging fruit, don't get into it. Don't catch it up, because ultimately, as Dr. Jaina had pointed out, that it isn't always about what you're doing and what you're doing good. Sometimes it's about what you're liking. Okay, so we'll talk about those in details. I wanted to just give you in quick 6 points what are the mistakes one shouldn't do. The next one is no research done. Yes, a lot of research needs to be done, and I will, by the end of this session, tell you exactly what are the ways you can do this research. Because if the research is not done correctly, so in our times, I think there was a problem with we not having access to technology, or we not having access to a lot of information. Now is the time. There is an information overload. So, and whether that information is right or not wrong, we are not aware of that. So it's very important to understand that whether we get authentic information or not. That is very, very crucial. And the last one is lack of self-awareness. This is where it all starts, self-awareness, knowing, as Dr. Jaina had pointed out, that knowing what is it that gives me that tick, what is it that I like, and why is it that I like. So if I like reading, then why do I like it? Is it because I like the English in it? Is it because the book really smells good? So what is it? So understanding yourself, so lack of self-awareness. So start exploring yourself, start knowing yourself, start understanding who you are as a person. So when this was all happening, I was visiting India while I was working in the US. And this is exactly when career counseling came into my mind. Somebody told me, you should see a career counselor. And I just thought in my mind that, the person would give me some basic ideas or some options of what I can do. You know, she would just know more details about careers than I. But my understanding was completely shattered, because career counseling is a methodology. It is just not about giving ideas, but about understanding what are the options which are right for you, not just about what options are there, because there are a lot of options, but whether that option is right for you or not is the more important question. So if you see on the slide right here, you see that there are interests, there are skills, there is aptitude, and there is personality. Now here on the left-hand side, these are the four major players. Of course, again, skills can be acquired. It is something that can be learned over time. But what is very important is your interest and your personality. So what is it that you love doing? What is it that you want to, you really would want to do if you were not paid, and the question of your personality, understanding personality. This is so very crucial. And most of us, I think, we do not explore these things, and we, even after this session today, and that is why I want to focus on these two things, the interest and the personality and the aptitude. These three things, if we are able to hit them right, I think you are sorted. You are not just sorted for your career, but you are sorted for life. So it is very, very important for us to identify who we are. Awareness, this is where it all starts. I mean, being aware about, as I said, about our likes, our dislikes, who we are as a person. When we talk about personalities, we talk about whether we love to do things on the computer, whether we are detailed oriented, whether we lack focus, whether we are multitasking at times, whether you are someone who, so I normally would love to work, in a closed space. I would just work by myself. Even if you see when it is movies, I would love to see a movie by myself, because there's no distraction, there's nobody to disturb me at that time. So whether it is, you need to identify these things. So whether you are critically thinking about things, so I'm not a critical thinker at all. So whether you can critically think about a certain aspect, whether you are detail oriented, whether you love people, whether you have a broad aspect in your life, or is it like, laser focused. Once you hold a certain thing, you want to finish it off and then switch on to the next one. So what kind of a person you are, because depending on who you are, a lot of these jobs would depend. So as when you were, I do not know if you had heard my introduction. So I was working in this scenario where I was the boss. I was like managing around 15 area managers under me in the US, which was a big company. It was and my performance was very good. So I was earning money. Everything was going right, and till now people ask me, why did I get back from there? Why is it that I chose what I chose? It's because what I'm doing right now is what gives me immense happiness. It is because when I feel that I can shift the thought process of someone, if I can bring about the change in somebody's life, I think that's like true happiness for me. So, we all have different ways of looking at life. We all have different things when we are looking at life. So who you are, discovering that is very important before you jump into choosing your career. So we spoke about interests, we spoke about skills, we spoke about the intelligence, the aptitude, and then we spoke about personalities. But before we move on further, I would like to talk about intelligence, because a lot of us think when we talk about intelligence, we think about IQ. This this is the word that is so, I think it is so out there. But if we look at Howard Gardner's multiple intelligence theory, and I would want that all of you go ahead, do a Google search, and this is the only reason why I have a presentation, is because I wanted to make sure that whatever I say is you are able to see it on your screen and you are able to go back and do the research. Because 30 minutes isn't enough for me to give you all the information. I'm just doing the best that I can to help you understand how it can influence your career choices. So if we look at this theory, we have different kind of intelligences, So somebody might not be good in mathematics, but the person is amazingly good in understanding an Indian raga. Or the person does amazing artwork. So that means that whether or not you do your mathematics right or not doesn't matter. You still have intelligence. So these are the 6 various intelligences that we have. And on the next slide, so each of these intelligence, whether it is linguistic intelligence, whether you are able to communicate properly, some people have this innate ability in them to communicate well. And then there are some people who do not want to talk, who are like, I have a client who just doesn't want to talk. So, whatever, and he's an entrepreneur. So when I talk to him and tell him that, you need to do this, it's like, that's the last thing I want to do. And I'm thinking, how am I supposed to, compliment that person? So it's very, very essential for you to understand. So if you do not want to go out there, want to communicate, what is it you like to do? And can you complement that? So in this case of this entrepreneur that I'm talking about, maybe he can complement it by hiring people who have those abilities in them. Okay, so make sure you look at this Howard Gardner's multiple intelligence and find out which are your intelligences. Are you good in musical things? Do you have a thing for that? Or are you great at linguistics, where you are communicating, whether you can write well, whether you have this knack of writing stories? So each one of us are different, and you need to identify where you are. So depending on the various intelligences, we have these careers. So these are some of the career options that I could kind of pull out, not necessarily. So the reason I have all this, whether it's a librarian, whether it's a engineer, I know, you all are possibly looking forward to an MCom or an MBA, but it's more important for me to tell you that it's okay if it is not an MCom or an MBA. It's fine if you take up being a librarian. It's fine if you want to do just artistry. Everything is fine in life. So these are some of the careers based on the intelligences. I have another slide on this, so I'll quickly move over to that. So, these are naturalists, musical. So if you are a naturalist, you would want to go and do some landscaping work. You would want to do some architecture work, right? So understanding your personality, again, as I said, this personality theory I've pulled up from Holland theory, which is one of the most, so personality tests, you can always go on, there are various free options that are there on Google. I do not guarantee the authenticity of anything except someone who is certified to do a psychometric test on you. However, I would always, so this is something that I normally use for my clients. So I would normally try to, figure out whether they have an investigative mindset, whether they have an artistic mindset, whether they have a social mindset, what kind of behaviors or what kind of personality do they have? And depending on that, and it is sometimes we have multiple personalities. So even if you do not, if you don't go to a certified professional, if you don't go to someone who's an expert, you can still look into these facts by your own self. You need to understand, you need to explore whether you are enjoying this or not, whether this is making sense to you or not. So just to give you an example, a person who is socially connected, would love to do something like a teacher's job, would love to do something like an HR job, because when in HR, you need to be a people's person. You need to think of the people before you think about yourself. So it has a lot of aspects. So whether your behaviors are aligned with one of these, which of these is it aligned with? Whether I am investigative, whether I am realistic, whether I am artistic. So you can go search in Google, find these terms. That is very important. And then you can keep on searching where you fit in. So this is one of the sample reports that I've pulled up, and this is only for, so this person reached out to me. He was in the army, and he was wanting to switch after 15 years of army. He was wanting to switch. So you see clearly he has a investigative and an artistic mindset or behaviors. So I kind of told him that data analytics was something which is the next thing in the market, or machine learning or data modeling. So these are some of the things that he could do. So this is how you can find for yourself what is the right thing. And the last thing, which is very, very important, which is actually preparing you for the corporate world, because now you are going to go in there. So what are the things which are very, very important? The first thing is networking. This is a skill that you need to develop, and you need to fast develop in today's world. So networking, finding people in the same career choices, talking to people in the other, whether they are, what they are taking up, how they are deciding on that, who is kind of mentoring them, finding a mentor for yourself, from the industry. So, they can give you insights into how the industry looks like. That's very, very important. Online visibility, your own brand, who you are, that is very important. So whether how you are showing yourself. So whether you take up MCom or you take up MBA, this is one of the key things. You need to identify that what people see in you, because nowadays we are not only as me, someone who interviews a lot of people, I don't just see their resumes. I kind of go and look up their Facebook accounts, their LinkedIn accounts, as to what they are sharing on their social profiles. So very, very important is your online visibility. So make sure that you have a strong online presence. You share articles where you want to go. So suppose if you are talking about getting into HR, then you might talk about the workplace, you might talk about the value systems, you might talk about diversity and inclusion. So these are the hot topics. So maybe you can strike conversations around those paths, because that is how you will make or pave your path into the corporate world. The next thing is internship, very, very important. So take up, explore. I normally, when I do career counseling sessions with school-going people, I always tell them, even if it is for free, please take up internships, because only when you are doing internships, you will get a hang of, is this something for me? Because something might look damn attractive, look the best, but when you start doing it, just like my management job, when I started doing it, I was doing it well, I was enjoying it, but it wasn't giving me peace of mind. So understand, so do various internships for 3 months, 5 months, 6 months, whatever the time period, to explore exactly where you are oriented. How is your behavior oriented towards your career choices? The next one is soft skills. So exactly, nowadays a lot of importance is also there on soft skills. So whether you have a problem solving mindset, whether you are good at communication, whether you are empathetic, whether you are a good listener, these are some of the core skills that corporates are looking for. So very, very essentially, if you are able to develop yourself, be a team player, very, very essential. All the corporates are looking for a team player. So I see somebody has raised their hand. I do not know if that's the question. I'll take the questions later on because we have a Q&A round at the end. Yeah, so very, very important is your soft skills. And so develop these soft skills, whether it is, team building, whether it's communication, whether it is active listening, whether it is empathy. These are some of the core skills, innovation, creativity, work around them, find how you can develop these skills. And the last one is talking to experts. And this particular thing, I think when, if you take up, most of the colleges are doing, but I would personally tell you, go on LinkedIn, make the best use of LinkedIn, go on there, connect with people who are from that industry which you want to join, talk to them, see if they kind of agree to mentor you, help you, tell you about their experiences. So that is very, very important. So talking to experts, finding experts in your circle who can help you with this would definitely help you. And when you start working, so the kind of system that we have grown up with, we don't have much of practical exposure. So when we look at an MBA, it's a professional course, but it's more importantly, it actually prepares you for the future, because it is so hands-on. You are not just doing some theories. You are practically going out, doing industry experiences, doing projects which are absolutely related to your work. So very, very importantly, look out for, if it's MBA, it definitely shapes you in that way. But all these things that I listed out here can be done whether you choose an MBA, you choose an MCom. Both are amazing fields. What's very important is how you can make best of use of these points to design the future that you are looking to make. With that, I think I will end my session here. And any questions, I think we have a Q&A round at the end. We will take up the questions at that time. Thank you so much, everyone, for being a patient listener. Yes.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
I now request Dr. Panda to take the session over.
Yeah, I'm audible?
Yes, sir, yes.
Yeah, thank you. So good afternoon, everyone. Respected principals, respected panelists, faculty, colleagues, and dear participants. We just heard both the speakers who have enlightened about the different aspect of better career perspective. Being a lawyer, I am little critical, I am a little investigative. Before I start answering my thoughts on what factors affects your career choice, I would like to draw your attention on 2 points. The first point is on NCRB data. The National Crime Record Bureau data that we have on our students, it is very worrisome. If you go through this data, the students from 15 years age to 29 years age are under tremendous stress due to many reasons. And we as Indians, we don't give any importance to these factors. It is very saddened that we one of the leading countries in the world which loses our students' talent by not focusing these solutions towards it. The second point is the new system of one size fits all. So this is a new concept on education that we expect all students to learn in the same manner. In my view, it is not a great idea in the present context. We can't force a doctor's sons that you study MBBS. As rightly Madam said, Prerna, okay, in our society, it is like that a Supreme Court lawyer's son or daughter, he forced towards LLB course. So these concepts are old-fashioned. Now we have to give enough space to our talented students to grow according to their interest, according to their talents. So now let me answer you, share my thoughts on, so what are the factors right affects your career choice? There are 4 or 5 factors in my mind. The first factor is time management. As a students, as a academician, we never follow time. We never follow any kind of, we never plan actually. It is true, but how to manage time properly? How to we innovate, how we engage ourselves in a proper time management? I'll say to 2 3 points. Like the first point is the planning. A fundamental part of time management is required. Being efficient in planning out your day, meeting, and how you will accomplish things will help you stick to your schedule. Suppose every morning after get up, you prepare a to-do list. This will take hardly 5 to 10 minutes. You decide the agenda for the day, like what is priority for me. So priority is also another point. So in preparing a to-do list, that will help the entire day productive. So that is one point I would like to say. The second point is goal settings. Most of us have many goals in life. As a students, as a professionals, we have many goals. These goals can be divided into 2 parts, like short-term goals and long-term goals. So short-term goals are goals like, you plan for a entrance examination. So you plan for a, sitting for a, interview. So these are all your short-term goals, or you write an article. So these all are short-term goals. And long-term goals, suppose you are preparing for civil service examinations or any competitive examinations. So these are your long-term goals. So how you manage your time to achieve such goals, that is very important. So time management is very, very important. For example, as in my profession as a lawyer, most of the advocates in high courts or Supreme Court, what we do, actually we mark a calendar in front of our office at home, because we marked our calendar according to the case in different courts. That gives us enormous, it helps us in identifying or doing the work at the right time. So that is very important. So time management is very, very important. The next point is stress management. So when practicing good time management, you should also be attentive to your mental health. It is important to maintain mental or physical both. So you can engage yourself in yoga, or you can engage yourself in physical activities, indoor games, outdoor games, or you want to see movies or music. You can engage yourself according to relieve yourselves from this stress. The second point is finance. This is one of the issues where many of our students fail to join a good institute. Obviously, the Constitution of India is giving right to education, and it aims ensure education for all. But you tell me, how many institutions, how many government institutions in India have the right infrastructure, right human resource? We have seen in this pandemic, as an institution, as a Xavier, we have conducted online classes because we have infrastructure, we have faculties, we have enormous study materials, e-resources we have sent to our students. We engaged them, we conducted examinations. So these are few things which is missing. And as a students, how you can get all such facilities? When you decide to join an institution, Search, as Madam Prerna said, that you have to be a little, you need to be a researcher. Before joining any college, just search whether there is a fellowship or there is a scholarship available, which you can apply for a course. What is the career opportunity for that course? Or whether this institution has a good infrastructure or not, or whether they have good faculties or not. So these are the things you have to look at while going for a career option. Location. The third point is location. In the current context, if you see, most of the government employees or it's a private employees, we have transferable job. Today we are sitting in the city of Bhubaneswar, tomorrow maybe Delhi, Bombay. So that also impact on students' career. Why I'm saying so? Because I myself, when I was studying, I have been, jump one college to another college because of my father's job. So this is, I hope, the same things happen to many of our students. So how to, what is the solution for this? You choose a institution which has a hostel facility. So stay in the hostel, enjoy the life, as well as staying in the hostel, engage yourself 24 hours with peer groups, discussions, even discussions, if competitions, debate competitions, in many institutions they are arranging in the evening time. So that is one. The second is exposure. Exposure, once you started staying in the hostel, maybe you will get all this exposure, meeting with friends, faculties, evening discussions, that will also help you. The last point is family pressure. As Professor Jena and Madam said, we are living in a traditional mindset of till now. If your father is lawyer, you have to study law. If your father is doctor, then you have to study MBBS. Why it is so? Why it is so? So how will remove such hurdles? And we also seen that most of the students follow the crowd. Suppose there are two students in a particular street or a particular area have joined MBA or MBBS, the whole crowd of that street follow them. So this should be avoided, and students should learn that what are their interests, what are the skills they have. They should utilize that skills, what are their talents, strengths. So these are few important points that as a students, as a career perspective students, you should look at. The second point, what are the qualities employer look in the new hires? Now you all have completed your BCom. Now we are looking for MCom, or few of you students looking for new opportunities. But while it is coming for a corporate or organizations, a recent data or recent report stated that the professionalism 86%, high energy 78%, and full confidence 61% are the top 3 traits employers say they are looking for in their new hires. So you understand that it's a professionalism 86%. What is professionalism? We all, as a student, you profess, you study. As academician, we learn, we write paper, we teach. But this is not the definition of professionalism. Professionalism means organizations that look the knowledge, skills, set of skills you have, the perfections, the quality, consciousness, the attitude. So these things are required for a professional, and the qualities that drives the organizations towards achieving excellence and reputation by encouraging workplace accomplishment. So these are few points. Now the corporates, the organizations are looking from the perspective candidates. High energy 78%. What do we mean by high energy? High energy is nothing. It's a proactive, it's a smart, it can be innovative or innovative ideas, and it can be related to the thinking process, what you are thinking, how you talk, what is the positive attitude you have, and it should be punctual, always punctual and sincere to the organizers. The last point is full confidence. As madam said, yes, as students, maybe few of you are good in communications, maybe few of you are good in writings. So we have to focus on that particular thing. If you are good in communication, develop that. You start delivering small or create small videos and upload it. Read as much as book you can, and grasp few knowledges and and deliver that to the mass public. The subject matter also, in-depth knowledge of the subject matter, that is also important. The good communication skill, as I said. Then self-motivated and goal-oriented. So companies are looking those who can selfly motivated themselves and can be a goal-oriented person, and learn from the previous mistakes. So these are the few points that nowadays companies are looking from the career students. So I hope, being the last panelist, and due to time factor, I can take the liberty to restrict my thoughts, because most of my points have been covered by Professor Jaina and Madam Prerana. So thank you. Yes. Yeah.
Thank you, sir. And now we move towards the question and answer session. Anybody who has any queries can raise their hand or put your question in the chat box.
If
We
any,
have
if any
Smita.
participant want to talk, they can unmute themselves. Okay.
Hello. Hello.
Hello.
Yeah, hi. It was a pleasure listening to all of you. I wanted to ask if there's any way for aspiring students to get a form of psychometric testing for themselves or aptitude tests easily, because otherwise you have to go through this extensive process of getting a psychometric from your friends or colleagues or known ones from psychological institutions like DBDA and all for career counseling, I'm saying. So is there an easy way for the rest of the students to get an assessment of their naturalistic or musical different intelligences, or a way to communicate to them? Yeah, is that possible easily?
Guess that question was directed towards me.
Yes, madam.
I'll take it up either ways. So as I very rightly said that, there's a lot of free resources which are available on the internet, but that is not something which I would definitely ask you to go for, because even when you are trying to identify these things, it might not be what it looks like. So yes, as much as I want you all to, so instead of, if you don't want to spend money, though, if you want to do a psychometric, it is not a very expensive deal nowadays. You get it at a very lower price. However, if you still do not want to spend money on it, the best way is self-reflection. Spend time with yourself, identify the questions. Professor Jaina had given some amazing questions. So I think looking into yourself and asking those questions, what is it self-reflection is the best way to identify who you are. So even if you don't go for a psychometric, that's the second best way that I would recommend, rather than going to the internet and exploring, because there's so much out there. It's difficult for me to tell you this is the correct way. Thank
Yes,
you.
more of self-awareness.
I'll just add it up, dear Abhishek, that what Madam has mentioned, I am also agreeing with that, that we need to figure out what we should do with our life. Okay, we need to explore ourselves. If we want to make a career that will really make us happy, we have to have a very good understanding of what we want and what we enjoy. For some people, this means taking some time off to decide what is important to them. So for example, for me, what I did is, it is like considering what I enjoyed at school, the academic subjects that translates well into future careers, for example, may require more skills than other type of careers. So it's like your favorite class in high school could be very well launch you into a future career, but you have to be willing to work for it. So obviously, this is more about self-introspections that actually helps us to explore ourselves well, and then we can consider the career that we are easily accessible to, and we can take up a stand for that.
Thank you so much.
Good evening, sir. Hello.
Yes, go ahead with your question.
Sir, I am in 10th class now, and I have made my career in army. I have planned everything, but because of this COVID situations, family.
Okay, can you go to the next question, Shimran? There are many questions in the chat.
Should I listen
Yes.
my own self or my family members? I have some doubt.
I think I'm not being that clear about your question. Actually, you were working in army, and then right now in pandemic, you were.
No, sir. No, sir. I'm not working in army. I'm in 10th now,
Okay.
and I have planned everything in my career. What will I do and how will I do?
Okay.
So I have planned my career in army.
Okay. Okay. So you have planned.
But because of some family pressures, they are telling that in this COVID situations, you should not go outside of our home locations like that. So what should I do? Should I listen the own feelings of mine and join army, or I should stop or listen the words of our house?
So Chiranjeevi, first of all, we need to honor the social distancing, and we should not move anywhere during the time of pandemic. So your family is taking due care for that, suggesting that you should not make any career move at this point of time. So obviously, I think the job opportunities in Indian Army or Navy or Air Force is not that much coming up at this moment of time, because they know that it is highly impossible for candidates to travel to places and attend the tests and all that. So at this moment of time, for example, what we predict is, if everything subsides and things get into normal, it will take close 4 to 6 months. So it is better you stay back. You are on class 10. So try pursuing your class 12, because obviously after class 12, the opportunities in Indian defense would be further better actually for you. So you continue pursuing your class 12 at present. Okay. And in due course, obviously, you fetch out your employment. See, 2 years is a good period. By the time things will be normal, what we hope so, then by that time there will be a lot of opportunities also you may find out, and obviously you can venture into your passion. But good that actually you are passionate on certain things. Obviously abide with what your parents says, and then convince to them by qualifying and then being with them and taking up your class 12, and after that obviously you'll land into a good job. But I'm delighted that your communication skills are so good being in class 10. So try study up for bit another 2 years, then explore your career. My best wishes.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon.
Hello.
Yes.
Sir, I am a logistics student, second year studying in Bharathasan University, Trichy. Sir, either in doing my PG, what I can do for MBA or some other else session, sir?
Krishnaveni, your point is very valid. You are in logistics, so obviously for logistics, the better option is if you venture into an MBA degree. MBA in operations and supply chain management is one of the gray area that you can venture into it, because logistics and supply chain management are quite linked to one another. You have during your course now you are getting a fair exposure on different internship program, what madam was also suggesting, Prerna madam was suggesting. You might have undergone through internship, summer internship programs and all. So obviously you can go for a better higher study, pursue your MBA degree, and that will give you a lot of opportunity. You may be finding that during this pandemic, you know, there are a lot of opportunities that has come up for the service industries. For example, Flipkart and Amazon, they are all onto logistics and supply chain. So obviously your MBA degree will give an edge to you. So please go ahead and pursue your MBA program. That I can suggest you at this moment of time. So pursue your higher study, but focus on to doing your MBA in operations and supply chain management.
So thank you.
Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon.
I'm Shilpa from St. Claret College. Sir, I have a doubt. Doing MBA in data science or data scientist certification course, which will be better, sir?
Okay, Silpa, you are looking for an MBA in data science management. What is your undergrad degree and what you were doing it in St. Claret? Your BCom or BBM, something you are doing it?
Sir, I'm BCom student, sir, final semester student.
Okay, so see that what exactly what you are good at it, because in BCom you might have got a plethora of course. You may be exposed to finance, you may be exposed to secretarial practices, business administration, some of the topics on business administration, varied subjects, some of the basic courses on fields of management, you might have been interfaced with it. So obviously what I can find out is you are interested to data science. That is a good area, but obviously you need to fetch out that whether, you know, the colleges and institutions, are they providing that specialization? Okay, what are the institutions that they provide? If in St. Claret College, if you have the same specialization and if they provide it to you with good, you know, placement assistance, then obviously that is a good choice. And if I guess that you are staying in Bangalore. So
yes, sir.
Obviously data science is the area you can approach onto it, because there will be good placements around, because as it is a Silicon Valley of India. So obviously you can venture, but only you have to find out that, you know, whether St. Claret is having that specialization program with them, or else where exactly you can get the necessary coaching for it. But data science is a good area.
Yes, sir. Doing a certification program is good, or doing with MBA it is good, sir. That is my doubt.
I don't think so that whether MBA has come up with such a specialization, first of all. And if you are trying to make it data science as a career, obviously certification program, well certified program, which will give you kind of placement, will be better. And plus the data science, if you will merge up with, for example, with marketing, okay, then obviously there will be a greater amount of connections you can get it out. Right. So to the previous question, I was addressing that supply chain management is a good area. So obviously, you know, the marketing and data science, obviously they can come together, and that will be helpful to you for your career. Silpa.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Sir,
yes.
Sir, I'm Niriman. I'm from Assam, Guwahati. Sir, I am BA third semester student. I have home science as a major subject. Sir, can I attend UPSC exam? And I want to join Indian Army too. After graduation, what to do? I really confused.
Okay. You have an interest for going for UPSC exam, and also you have an interest to go for, to get into Indian Army. Home science is a subject that you have dealt with it, but try exploring the web portals, because I am not having a clear-cut idea that whether home science in what way they take up in you know, Indian Defense Service. But nowadays the best part, Marami, is, you know, there are a lot of opportunities that you know, the Indian Defense has come up for female you know, cadets. So obviously that will be a good option for you. You just try out. They require a basic minimum graduation with 50% mark, as far as I know. So, so just have a
I'm
look.
also NCC cadet.
Okay, you are an NCC cadet also. Very good.
So I think they can, Dr. Jaina, so since she is already completed her graduation, so she will be able to appear for the SSC. They actually they have a short service commission for that. They have to appear for a test. So which is a written examination, and post that they can, you know, it doesn't matter what is her field of graduation has been. So she can go for army through that. I mean, I have an army background.
Yeah. Oh, madam, then in that case, actually, that's what I was just thinking. I'm just recalling back because long time back, I have also given my NDA exam after +2. So they are not looking for any specialized undergrad, you know, honors or any specialized. They require a plain graduate degree with 50% or some cutoff of marks. I think that is the basic minimum qualification. I think, Marami, you can, as madam has suggested, and as he is belonging to that field of it, so obviously you can explore it from UPSC. Just see that what is the minimum eligibility they take up, okay, and you can venture into that.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Hello, Dr. A. Prakash, you can go ahead with your question.
Okay. Before we could conclude, I request all of you to give your valuable feedback, and once you have submitted your feedback, you will be receiving an e-certificate via your mail. I now request Ms. Sharon from the Department of MSW to deliver the vote of gratitude.
Thank you. So do what you love and love what you do. This definitely holds true in the context of what we heard from our eminent speaker. I would begin by thanking our principal, Reverend Dr. Sabu George, and Vice Principal, Father Abraham, for their constant support and guidance in our. A special thanks to all our resource persons who provided us with valuable insights on how to excel in our chosen paths. A special mention for the organizers of the webinar who gave their heartfelt effort in ensuring its smooth implementation. And most importantly, a big thank you and participants who have joined us from across the country. And we sincerely hope you had an enriching time and that you would be inspired to pursue further studies in the field. Sonal ma'am.
Hello.
Simran.
Yes, ma'am. Yeah. I once again like to thank you all. Have a wonderful evening and stay safe. Thank you.
Thank you. Good session, sir.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you, sir.
Thank you all. It was indeed a wonderful session.
Prakash sir? Prakash sir, are you
Yes.
there?
Yes. Yeah.
Not you, sir. Prakash sir? Prakash sir?
Me. Yes, Sunil. Yes.
We can wind up the session?
Yeah. Okay. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank
Then
you.
I said, thank you, sir. I'll talk to you. Yeah. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you. So we'll take a leave then.
Yeah. Thank you, sir. Yes.